shots when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're out the dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
So instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's
help. And now, Mike's Thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, it is that time of the year when we get a lot of these people that want to try to troll me and write receipts, and they get upset about me when I respond to them. One of these posts was about the Minnesota Vikings. It was a contender and pretender from last week. For some reason, there has been a lot of controversy around this said post. And I said that the Minnesota Vikings were pretenders. People were in my chat saying you're a clown, you're this, you're that, you're that, you're that, you're that. Normal. It is what it is. It becomes with the nature of the beast. But then there was this one particular individual. This one particular individual, I believe his name is Jacob. Jacob says, hey, how can you tell me that the Minnesota Vikings got dominated by the Detroit Lions when we only lost by 1? Your journalistic integrity is flawed or something like that. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, here we go. Let's buckle up. I'm like, first of all, man, use your English right. Yours and theirs, come on, man. Use them correctly. But I digress. And then I said, well, first of all, your Minnesota Vikings lost by 2. Secondly, look beyond the box score. Look beyond the first quarter. They got dominated that game. Let's just be honest. And he said, how can you respond to me like that? It goes against everything journalism. No. I'm like, first things first, man. I'm not bogged down by a freaking network. I'm not bogged down by the man. I'm not bogged down by anybody. I will come at you with the same energy that you come at me with. Understand that. When I fight fire with fire, I fight fire with fire. So do not come at me and say, oh, you're a clown, you're this, you're that, and that, whatever. I'm going to come back at you. I'm going to come back at you with some facts, and I'm going to bring some logic, and then you can do this, this, and this, and I'm going to come right back at you because I don't give a fuck at the end of the day. Understand that. I'm not bogged down by nobody except for my wife, and I will come at you over and over and over again. So with that being said, if you want to make a comment, I enjoy the comments. I love the comments. I love all the hate that you try to bring, and I encourage it because I like having conversations. I like making you prove your point. I like saying that your team sucks because I see things differently than you. That's the way it is. But at the end of the day, if you're saying, oh, you can't do that, man, fuck you. I do what I want. This is Man Hour, baby. Live, raw, and uncut NFL talk. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Be sure to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Check out the blog section. But most importantly right now, if you guys are listening to us on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, or iTunes, or you're listening to us live, raw, and uncut at facebook.com/Man Hour. And of course, youtube.com/Man Hour. Share this with a couple friends. Sharing is caring at the end of the day. If you watch this on YouTube Shorts, I encourage you to come over to the live stream. The live stream is where I see all of your comments, and we got the overlays. We got a little bit of this, we got a little bit of that. We got a lot of magic happening on the full stream. So if you're on YouTube Shorts right now, come on over, and bada bing, bada boom, we can have some fun. But guys, it is Friday, November 15th, 1:37 p.m. right here on the East Coast time, and it is time to get fired up on this Fired Up Friday, as James likes to say. But we got a great show for you lined up today. We got a great show for you lined up today. Of course, every show is great, but this show is bringing a little extra oomph to it, right? They're bringing a little oomph to it because we got to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Buffalo Bills. That's right, my Kansas City Chiefs, the two-time back-to-back Super Bowl champions, the man, the myth, the legend, the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to talk about them today. We're going to talk about how much the Buffalo Bills need this game. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the Washington Commanders taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I said it. They're the best team in the NFC. Stand by it. Put some respect on their name. Let's talk about it. Also, the Commanders are overrated. Let's just be honest. They're overrated. Stop buying the hype. And then we got some buy or sell. We got caught off yesterday, damn internet. So we're going to do a little bit of buy or sell. We're going to talk about Caleb Williams getting benched. We're going to talk about Aaron freaking Rodgers. Got Sam Darnold being a Viking next season. What? Slow it down, baby. And then Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy. If he is not on your fantasy team, you should pick him up right now because he is coming, baby. Also, we got Contender or Pretender Friday. We got 4 teams that we're going to discuss. These are the 2 teams on the NFC side and the AFC side on the outside of the playoffs looking in, sitting at the 8th seed and the 9th seed, and we're going to determine if the Chicago Bears are contenders or pretenders. We're going to determine if the 49ers are contenders or pretenders. We're going to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and the Indianapolis Colts. Are they contenders or pretenders? We got a lot to get through today, guys. We are not bogged down by we're not bogged down by no radio stations. So they're like, cut for breaks, Buck. Man, forget you. I'm not going to cut for breaks. We are live. We are raw. We are uncut right here on the Man Hour, guys, each and every Monday through Friday at 1:30 East Coast time until other things happen. But it is what it is. But to get carried away, before I get too carried away, we got to welcome some people in the chat. We got to welcome the mans, the myths, the legends into the chat. We got to welcome the CEO of the Pigskin Pundits, Mr. Jim Powell. He says, slow down on the pimp juice, baby. That's John. John says, slow down on the pimp juice. I got my monster today, boys. I got the monster today. I got the Beast Energy Bites, freaking gross. Don't buy them. They are gross. I'm just saying it is. But guys, thank you for being Pigskin Pundits. You guys, if you want to be like Jim and John, click on the link below. There's a subscribe button. It's a little fee a month, bada bing, bada boom. You get free merch. You get free into our $2,000 NFL yearly pick'ems, bada bing, bada boom. You get some insights. You get a little before show, maybe a little after show, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Be like Jim and John and Laura and Casey and John and become a Pigskin Pundit, guys, because they like to do what they do. James Chambers in the chat today as well. He says, down goes Paul. And you know what, James? I am kind of intrigued with this boxing match. I think the last boxing match that I watched was Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. That was like, 10, 12 years ago. It's forever ago. I was still in Kansas. We watched it at the casino, and I've never watched boxing before that. I watched it then, never watched it since then. I am kind of intrigued. I am kind of intrigued of this Mike Tyson versus, was it Jake Paul fight? Basically, because I just want to see Mike Tyson fight. Like I could care less about Jake Paul or whoever it is. I just want to see Mike Tyson at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. Jim says, "Is you coming at us with that fire because of your gingerness?" Listen, gingers don't have any souls, Jim. You know this. Gingers fight fire with fire because we have nothing left to give. They already taken our souls, so we got to fight with fire and say, you like that, baby? That is just the way it is. But yeah, no, I just want people to know that I will come at you, right? Yeah, you can say what you want. It doesn't really affect me one way or the other. I got some thick-ass skin. I've had a stutter for 36 years of my life. I've been called everything under the book. It doesn't matter to me, right? It doesn't matter to me one bit. So when you want to talk your shit, and then I come back at you and like, oh, mommy, he hurt my feelings. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Fired Up Friday, says James. Yeah, we'll start that segment next week, James. Fired Up Friday, right? Fired Up Friday. And I got to ask you guys a question. Who do you guys have? Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills? Chiefs. John says, I want the Bills, but Vag farts by 4. Pigskin Pundits, get you some, yes, sir. Speaking of Pigskin Pundits, Laura's in the chat today as well. Laura just went and saw Jelly Roll for the 3rd time. Hope we had a good concert. He usually puts on a good show from what I see on TikTok and Twitter and whatnot. I've never been, but how was the show, Laura? How was the show? And Carson thinks, I think Mike Tyson wins. You know what, Carson, John, Jim, Laura, everybody else in the chat today, it's going to end in a draw. Let's just be honest. It is going to be ending in a draw. Because Jake Paul can't take the loss, right? It is his promotion. He's making all the money. He is basically doing this for limelight, like at the end of the day. And it's going to be rigged, right? And if Mike Tyson comes out and just goes ham on him like he did in the 90s, just like loses his mind and snorts some cocaine, they're going to be like, oh, no. Jake Paul survived because of some. It is. I mean, like I'm intrigued to watch it, but at the same time, we know what is going to happen, right? We know what's going to happen. Carson says, "I'll take the Chiefs the regular season, as long as Bills take the preseason." I think he means postseason, but Bills can take the preseason if you want. Oh man. And Laura says, I was in tears multiple times last night at the Jelly Roll concert. And James like, Jelly Rolls is Adele for dudes. Listen, Jelly Roll used to be a gangster. He has turned over a new leaf, no longer a gangster. It is what it is. But it is time to get into today's show, guys. It is time to start talking about Week 11, really diving deep into it. Yes, we saw a game last night, the Eagles taking on the Commanders, and that's where I want to start. That is where I want to start today's show, because there's a team out there that has shown us that they are the real deal. There's a team out there that many people say, oh, yeah, you're good, but who have you played? There's a team out there in the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are arguably one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC. Hands down, shut up, I said what I said. Now, as normal, the Eagles did start off slow last night versus the Washington Commanders. They're actually down 7-3 going into halftime. Early in the third quarter, they're actually down 10-3 on Thursday Night Football. But midway through the third quarter, they're like, okay, Commanders, we've toiled you around long enough. Now it's time to give the ball to Gaineswell. Now it's time to give the ball to Saquon. And it's time to put the pedal to the metal and say, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby. Matter of fact, Saquon Barkley scored back-to-back touchdowns in 20 seconds of game time. Slow it down, baby! So we got to ask the question, guys. Did the Eagles just prove last night that they are the best team in the NFC? Not the NFL, but the NFC. Are the Eagles the best team in the NFC? Like I said, last night, they did start out slow. It seems like every game this season, they start out slow. They really don't start getting their wits about it until about the third quarter, right? At one point, it's going to come back and bite them in the butt, but right now, they're doing what they do, right? Even though they start out slow, they stick to what they know how to do, and they don't panic. They will run the ball over you, and they play good defense, and bada bing, bada boom, they're winning another football game. Not only is their offense top tier, which is ranked 4th in the NFL, I might add, 200 yards passing per game, 181 yards on the ground, slowing down, baby, and 26 points per game. What? They have the best defense in the NFL. Not one of the best, not a top 5, not a top 10. They have the best defense in the NFL. And yeah, they're probably going to get home field advantage. But you know what travels well in the playoffs, in the NFL in general, going to the Super Bowl? It's the defense and the running game. And when we look at defenses, right, in the NFC alone, yes, the Eagles are the best defense in the NFL. But then you have to drop down, not to number 2, not to number 4, not to number 5, not even number 6, 8, no. Number 10, getting close, number 11. Number 11 is the next best NFC defense in the NFL, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. And if you want to talk about the best team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions, what is their defense ranked? It's not top 10. It's not number 11. It's number 19th. The 19th ranked defense in the NFL goes to the Detroit Lions. Oh, but they got a good defense or a good offense, Buck. They know how to run the ball. They can beat you in so many different ways. Yada, yada, yada. Shut up. The Lions do have a good offense, but they're only ranked 6th in the NFL. They're not as good as the Philadelphia Eagles, which is ranked 4th in the NFL. So for all you stat heads, you want to look at the stats. The Philadelphia Eagles, the best defense in the NFL. Number 1. Number 4 ranked offense in the NFL. Detroit Lions, number 19th. That's bottom half in their defensive ranked and then number 6th in the NFL on the offense. Guys, the Eagles are the real deal. The Eagles are the real deal. Put some freaking respect on their name. They will go as far as Saquon Barkley takes them. Don't get that twisted. But he is playing at an MVP level right now, and he cannot be stopped. He's averaging 113 yards per game. Somebody put some chains on that guy or something because he's going to run all over you. He is taking your wife, taking your kids, and leaving you a can of soup. He is that man. They have won 6 games in a row, meeting the Philadelphia Eagles since the embarrassment of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back on week 4. They had a bye week, fire everybody. Since then, they've been not only winning, they have been dominating games. They are dominating games week after week after week, 6 of them in a row to be exact. They play football at their pace, and they're forcing teams to crumble in the fourth quarter. Yes, they do have some good tests coming up. The Ravens, the Steelers, the Commanders again. This is a team that you cannot sleep on. This is a team that you cannot sleep on because they are the best team in the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles proved last night that they are them. The Philadelphia Eagles last night proved that they can beat anybody in the NFL. Just not the NFC, anybody in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is not even playing at his top level yet. He's getting better and better each and every week. Now, I do understand Saquon Barkley. Injuries this, injuries that, whatever, right? Right now, if the Super Bowl were to, or the playoffs were to start tomorrow, I'm buying the Eagles in the wild card round because they would be second seed, right? Buying them in the divisional round, buying the AFC championship game, and buying them in the Super Bowl. The Eagles are them. Understand that. So, guys, let me ask that question. Let me ask for the people in the chat. To the people that love the Detroit Lions, to the people that love their San Francisco 49ers, to the people that think the Commanders are the real deal, are the Philadelphia Eagles the best team in the NFC right now? Are they the best team in the NFC right now? And John says, yes, they are the second best team in the NFC. John, I feel like you're going to put your hometown team, the Detroit Lions, up on top. I feel that you're like, oh, my homerness is going to come out, and here we go, Detroit. Let's go, Lions. Shut up. Understand defense travels. Understand that the Detroit Lions have the 19th ranked defense in the NFL. Who has the first? These Philadelphia Eagles. Laura says, Eagles, what? Slow it down, baby. What? Yeah, Eagles are the best team in the NFC, Laura. Put some respect on it, and Jim is putting respect on it. Jim says Barkley is a man among boys right now. He is. Saquon Barkley said, you know what, Giants? It's been real. It's been fun. 6 years is a long time. No, I'm the problem, not you. Let me go on. I understand you want to pay me like $3 or $4 million a season, but I'm worth a little bit more. He goes to Philly. He gets his money. He gets those dollar bills, y'all. And he says, okay, time to put the big boy pants on. I graduated, bada bing, bada boom. Put the suit and tie on to work. Let's go to work and let's do it. Saquon Barkley is the dog. Saquon Barkley is the man right now. James Chamberlain says that Eagles at Lions NFC champion game is going to be a classic. And I say, slow it down, James. Slow it down, baby. Because the Lions are a dome team. The Lions have only played one element game the whole season in the rain versus the Green Bay Packers, which they did win. Do not get that twisted. They did win that game. However, they don't have any outdoor games that could possibly be elements for the rest of the season. The Philadelphia Eagles will probably end up getting the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles will probably have home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. And, we're not smart people by any stretch of the imagination, but common sense tells us, right, that in January, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it might snow, it might rain, it's going to be cold, it's going to be nasty, but the wind is going to be blowing, right? And I understand the Lions can run the ball. I understand they got a 2-headed monster back there in Gibbs and Montgomery. But they have no Saquon Barkley and Gainwell. They have no team that's going to dominate you left and right. If the Detroit Lions do not get the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, they're not going to the Super Bowl. They probably won't even make the NFC championship game. Let's just call a spade a spade. Just spade a spade. And John's like, oh, hell nah. Detroit would beat the Eagles. They would say, come here, little boy, bad baby, bad baby. No. Not going to happen, John. Not going to happen. Just enough to win, baby, says their defense. Okay. Defense is going to have to step up. If my memory serves me correctly, guys, there has never been a Super Bowl defense or a Super Bowl winner with a worse than ranked 15th defense going into the playoffs. Just put it out there. Just put it out there. Jim says, okay, is this the real test? Power rank them right now. If I were going to power rankings right now, after this game from last night, the Philadelphia Eagles would be number 2. It would be the Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bills, and then the Detroit Lions. Now, if the Buffalo Bills do beat the Kansas City Chiefs, right, you obviously got to move the Kansas City Chiefs down a little bit. Bada bing, bada boom, the Eagles number 1. Buffalo Bills will probably be number 3, right? Maybe 2, possibly. But Philadelphia Eagles are number 1 and number 2 right now. Detroit Lions would be number 4, number 5. If I were to redo it this week after last night's game. Carson says, I will ask you this. Who have the Eagles played? He says, I know, really don't matter, but how many times during the rankings can be flated off their strength of schedule like the Dolphins and Cowboys last season? So actually, I had this in my notes. I totally overlooked that. I overlooked my notes here, which is shocking, right? Buck doesn't know how to read. But the Philadelphia Eagles, yes, they have not played anybody, right? The Philadelphia Eagles have not really gone out there and competed against playoff teams. And their 6-game winning streak, they've beaten the Commanders, which is a playoff team. Let's just be honest. They're going to make the playoffs probably by default, but they're going to make the playoffs. Cowboys, no playoff team. Jaguars, Bengals, to be determined. They can make a run, right? Potentially. But probably out. Giants and Browns. You are correct, Carson. They, quote, haven't played anybody, right? Meaning playoff-bound teams. They have played the Packers, Falcons, and Bucks. Falcons and Bucks are probably going to be battling for the AFC South. Probably not a wild card, but they have both lost to the Buccaneers and Falcons, but they did greet the Green Bay Packers in week number 1. In Brazil, Friday night, let's just wipe that off the slate. Doesn't really matter, right? Week 1 is so long ago. Anything can happen week 1. But to say they haven't played anybody, you are correct. They have not played any playoff-bound teams besides the Commanders during this 6-game winning streak. However, let's look beyond the box score. Let's look beyond the teams. Let's sit there and let's watch the tape. Let's watch the tape to the simple fact that the Philadelphia Eagles are not only winning these games, they are dominating these games. From start to finish, they are dominating these games. Even when the Commanders had a 7-3 lead at halftime, 10-3 going into the third quarter, midway through the third quarter, right? The Commanders really never, I never felt like the Commanders really had a shot, right? It was just a matter of time before that dam broke. And it showed. The defense dominated the Commanders. Yes, they got a late touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Was an amazing catch, by the way. If you guys have not seen that 2-point conversion by the Washington Commanders, go to YouTube and look at it. It is freaking awesome. Amazing catch, amazing ball placement, etc., right? But the Eagles dominated every game they have played during the 6-game winning streak from start to finish. Yes, they may have not played anybody playoff-bound wise, but they are the real deal. They are dominant. John People says, anybody have Narcan? Or talking delirious. Not talking delirious. I'm talking facts, baby. Talking facts, baby. And Laura says, whoa. Don't be sleeping on my Minnesota Vikings now. Don't be sleeping on my wild card 17 Minnesota Vikings. Because we're going to go into Philly. If they get the second seed, you're going to whoop that ass, baby. Joke's on you, Laura. You are not going to have to play the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round. You're going to have to go to Detroit, Michigan, Ford Field, and play the Detroit Lions for the third time. And the third time's the charm, they're going to whoop that ass. Let's go. John says, based upon that record, just like the pussy farts quarterback hasn't played the best to be on the power rankings. John, when we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, because I'm assuming that's who you're talking about, the Kansas City Chiefs in their 9-0 record here, right? They're 9-0. 4 of those 9 games have against playoff teams. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Wombat Zombats in the chat. He says, go birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's roll, baby. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And he likes the Lions at the Eagles on that NFC Championship game. And John says, but common sense is not that common. Common sense is not that common. Facts. Y'all dumber than a box of rocks. New addition to the Lions. Jadarius Smith, the edge rusher that the Detroit Lions needed to make the Super Bowl. To be determined. To be determined. My man Mark D's in the chat says, but I told you about the Eagles. And Mark D, you are right. You didn't tell me about the Eagles last week or the week before that or the week before that. It was 4 weeks ago to the date on Tuesday. You're like, hey, don't be sleeping on those Philadelphia Eagles, man. They up and coming, baby. And John says you're higher than Eagle Ball. That is why on the Man Hour hoodie, guys, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there is an eagle right there. It is an eagle because that's how eagles defeat people. Just fly higher than anybody else out there. Detroit Lions are 9-1 there, Sparky. And the Detroit Lions are going to go on a 3-game losing streak. Sparky. Why is the floor wet? I don't know, Margot. And Carson says, you are welcome for reminding me of your notes, Buck. Daddy's got you. Thanks, Papa. Thanks, Daddy. I appreciate your loveness out there. But, guys, the question is, are the Philadelphia Eagles the best team in the NFC? I think they are. And I think last night proved it. Now, the Detroit Lions could be a 1A or like a 1B, but the Eagles are on top because A becomes before B, and there's no such thing as a 1A, 1B. That's just still an S now. You still put a team first. But that's a story for a different day. Now, on the other side of the coin, we've seen this team. We've seen this story. We've seen the hype train of the Washington Commanders. We've seen people hype up the Washington Commanders week after week. They're the real deal. They're winning the NFC East. They're doing this. They're doing that. I'm like, ah! And I finally, was it 2 weeks ago? I was like, you know what? I believe in the Commanders. I'm starting to buy the hype of the Commanders. I'm starting to realize, like, hey, yeah, they haven't played nobody, but they did battle the Ravens, and they come out and they beat the Panthers and the Bears in a Hail Mary. I'm like, hey, okay, I'm buying them. But since then, since I bought the hype train of this Washington Commanders team, since I've, like, okay, I have faith in y'all. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Not only are they on a 2-game losing streak, they've blown 2 second-half leads. 10 points to the Steelers and then 7 points to the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, the question is, are we done buying this hype around the Commanders? Are we done trying to say, oh, they're the East, they're the champions, stop it. Are we done buying it? That's the real question. When we look at the Washington Commanders, guys, they do drop to 7-4 on the season with the loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. And just like Carson brought up, right? The big buzzword around the Commanders is they have not played nobody yet. They haven't played nobody yet, right? Let's rephrase it. They haven't beaten anybody yet. They have yet to beat a playoff-bound team. They have wins over the Giants. They have wins over the Bengals, the Browns, the Panthers, the Bears, and the Giants. Oh, wow, baby. Nothing to write home about. And the only reason why they beat the Giants was because the Giants didn't have a field goal kicker in that particular game. Let's just be honest. And it's not like they haven't played anybody yet, right? They played a couple playoff-bound teams. They played the Buccaneers. Oh, by the way, they lost to the Bucs. Oh, but they played the Ravens. They lost to the Ravens. But they played the Eagles. Oh, they lost to the Steelers. But they lost to the Eagles too. Their 4 losses are to playoff teams. And they're not even just losing. They're giving away the games, right? They're giving away those second half games. They're giving away the leads, like in games that they really should not win or they should have won, right? And when we flash back to the Eagles game just last night, let's look at the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, it was 12-10. It was like 8 some odd minutes left in the game, right? It was 4th and 1. They had a chance to take the lead with the field goal. What did they do? Mr. Dan Quinn's like, let's go for it on 4th down, baby. Yeah, let's go. What happens? Negative play, sacked, turnover, bada bing, bada boom. Saquon Barkley scores 2 touchdowns in like 20 seconds. Now, that 4th down play changed the whole outcome of the game. Let's just be flat out honest. We saw the momentum of the Commanders deflate. Very next play, Saquon Barkley to the house. Watch the Commanders get the ball back. Boom, bada bing, 19-10. Interception by Reed Blankenship. The next play or two plays later, bada bing, bada boom, Saquon Barkley to the house. I understand the stats are out there. The Washington Commanders are 12-14 on 4th down this season. And the facts are is when you have a chance to extend the drive, they've done it 12 times so far this season, and it is demoralizing to a defense. I get it, right? But per NFL analytics, on top of that, when a team has a successful 4th down play, they score 51% of the time. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense to go for it, but at the end of the day, you have to know your situations. Look beyond the analytics. Stop being Mr. Risk Taker himself. Now, the Commanders guys do play 3 very winnable games the next 3 weeks. Then they play the rematch versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And then they play the Falcons and the Cowboys to end the season. The storyline going into the playoffs is still they have not played anybody yet. But I am done buying the hype around the Washington Commanders. I am done buying their hype. They have yet to beat a good team. I mean, they've beaten the Cardinals, but are the Cardinals going to make the playoffs? Probably not. They have yet to beat a playoff team, and they only have 2 games left versus playoff teams for the rest of the season. Dan Quinn, risky play calling, like on that 4th down call, is going to cost Commanders this season, just like Dan Campbell's risk-taking cost the Detroit Lions Super Bowl chances last season. Guys, I am done with the Washington Commanders hype train. I am done. They're not very... They are good. They are built to win now. But Dan Quinn is going to be the ultimate failure for them. Age is going to catch up to them, and they're not going to be battle tested when it comes to the playoffs. So, guys, let me ask this question. Are we done buying the hype around the Washington Commanders? Are we done saying the Washington Commanders are them, right? John says Washington isn't done, and they're going to win the East. John, I'm sorry. When the Washington Commanders go on a 3-game losing streak, when the Washington Commanders go to AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, and they lose on Thanksgiving Day to the Dallas Cowboys, making that a 3-game losing streak, I want you to screenshot this. Screenshot this, John, right now. Boop, boop. Do it. When they go on a 3-game losing streak and they lose to the Cowboys, are they still going to win the East? Absolutely not. They have 3 gimme games versus the Cowboys, Titans, and Saints coming up. When they drop one of those games, like, ha, told you so. When they get humiliated by the Eagles at home on December 22nd, like, ha, I told you so. When they get beat by the Falcons, was it Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve? Ha! Told you so. The shoe has dropped in Washington. Jaden Daniels has hit that rookie wall. Dan Quinn is gone like, risk it, no biscuit. You're going to get no biscuit because you've been risking it. Let's just be honest. John says the Eagles will be the wild card to play either Minnesota or Tampa Bay. And, John, this is where you get mixed up, man. This is where you get mixed up because if the Philadelphia Eagles are a wild card team, that means they'll be a 5th, 6th, or 7th seed team. By saying they'll play Minnesota in the wild card is implying that the Minnesota Vikings will get a divisional crown. That's not going to happen. Sorry, Vikings fans. I like y'all, but you are not winning the NFC North. Not going to happen. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have an opportunity to win the NFC South still. Very, very long shot, but still an opportunity. So that would be a 4-5 seed. That could be a potential game. Tampa Bay versus Eagles yet again. So It is what it is. Like, I could see it, but not going to happen. Ronnie Lester's in the chat. What's up, Ronnie? He says, they all better get the Chiefs now, because come December, they will have a full squad ready to go. Who are you talking about, the Buffalo Bills? Curious. Jim says, I think they still got a few rounds further than Paul goes. I haven't really cared about the Skins since the Riggins fans, me over in my grandma's living room. And there's no reason to root for the Redskins now either, Jim. Because they're not even going to make the playoffs like at this rate. Let's just be honest. 2-game losing streak right now, potentially 3, losing to the Cowboys. The wheels will fall off the wagon at some point. It's happening now. It's happening now. John says, all the shit we hear about Vegas, I hope Dallas is dead last. You better hope Dallas is dead last, because it's the only way they have a chance to win. Laura says, seems like fourth down failures have happened a lot this season because people are trusting this analytic bullshit. Laura, see, there's this thing in the world where, like, analytics tell us what to do. Analytics is this, and analytics is that. The analytics tell me that I should turn left instead of right because I can save 36 seconds going this way. Well, shut up. You know how hard it is to drive over 4 lanes of traffic and turn left when I can just turn right, go down the stoplight, make a U-E and go? Sometimes you have to trust your gut, and that is what NFL coaches are starting to forget. Like, hey, there was a time pre-analytics. There was a time like, hey, what do you say up there, man in the sky? Trust the freaking gut. And trust your situation. The situation in Washington was second down, 0 yardage. Third down play was an incomplete pass. And then you go for it on fourth down. It was 12-10. Literally missing it fourth down when you're down 12-10. When the Eagles' defense is playing stellar, right? Their offense at the time was still kind of struggling, right? They did find the end zone, but they were struggling. Let's just be honest. Field goal kicker at that point already missed 2 field goals. And then a PAT, 7 points left on the floor. So you're already already playing with house money as is. Take the freaking points. Trust your freaking gut. Trust your freaking gut. Carson says the only team the Cowboys have beaten right now are the Little Giants. And they're going to beat the Commanders come Thanksgiving Day, baby. I'll be back in Kansas, watching with the Pops, getting my Micah Person jerseys on. Commanders going down. Lord, Dallas isn't going to win? They is going to win, baby. Because Dallas Cowboys can't even tank right. Can't even tank right. And John says, shave your beard over it? We'll have a beard bet. Sure, whatever. What are you going to shave? I mean, because you're already bald and you don't have a beard. Laura says, lay off the beat spikes, but they're not very good. I want to see your baby face. My baby face makes me look older because it's all got the wrinkles and scars and stuff from like years of abuse. Carson says, Commanders might not be them this year, but let's see what happens next year. Yeah, let's see what happens when the whole defense retired because they're over 35 years of age. Now, I see what you're saying, Carson. They got 9 draft picks. They got $125 million in cap space, yada, yada, yada. They also got Dan Quinn as the head coach. Let's just be honest. They got Dan Quinn as the head coach. Maybe he's turned over a new leaf. Maybe doing this has helped his confidence. Maybe wearing the backwards hat on the sidelines like, hey, yeah, baby, let's go. Simple fact of the matter is it's still the Washington Commanders. I know, new ownership, new general manager, new coach, new culture, new 9 draft picks, $125 million. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But, guys, are we done buying the hype train of the Washington Commanders? Are we done buying it? Truth be told, I am. Jumping off that wagon. I was on it for a little bit. I'm like, damn. Guys, is Thanksgiving next week, really? No, he's got like 2 weeks. So the Commanders played on Thursday. Then they got a bye week. What? That can't be right. So the Commanders played Thursday on the 14th, and then they don't play again till the 24th? That's Sunday. That's not Thanksgiving Day. Oh, it's not Thanksgiving Day. I misspoke. My bad. So they play the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So my bad. My bad on that one, guys. So the Commanders got the mini bye week, and then they play the Dallas Cowboys. It's not a Thanksgiving day, so that could be a different outcome. I reckon. Mark D says, Washington is done. This is where my guy Bo takes over and leads the Rookie of the Year race. No. No. The Commanders, a.k.a. Redskins, are still a sleeper, I feel. Maybe not this year. Maybe not next year. Maybe not the year after that. But you want to keep an eye on them, right? James says, how bad is that? Your own football team for years, and they suck the whole time you sell the team, and they're instantly become playoff contenders. Contenders, pretenders, they're pretenders. It is what it is. But speaking of MVPs, in this game, guys, we saw the real MVP. When the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles played last night, we saw the real MVP. Let's just be honest. Saquon Barkley in the last 5 games has 775 yards from scrimmage while scoring 2 more touchdowns. So far this season, he has 1,137 yards on the ground, averaging 113 yards per game. Guys, can we start putting Saquon Barkley into this MVP conversation? Can we start looking beyond the quarterbacks and start looking at this running back that is happening right now? Can we put Saquon Barkley at the top of the list of the MVP? And the reason why I think Saquon Barkley is the MVP, look at his stats. 113 yards per game, 1,100 yards so far this season. He is scoring at will, right? 775 scrimmage yards during this 5-game winning streak. He has been a man, the myth, the legend. He will be the reason why, or he is the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFL. And when I posted this question or this statement on our Facebook page, there was this one particular guy. I don't know who it was. Let's call him Jacob too, because Jacob's going to bad rap today. He says, I would still take Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery over Barkley. I was like, so you're taking 2 running backs over 1. Isn't that a definition of an MVP? Like, guys, can we put Saquon Barkley into the MVP conversation? That is a legitimate question that I want to ask. Can we put Saquon Barkley into this MVP conversation? And I think we have to. I think we need to start reevaluating our MVP standards, right? Not the quarterback on the best team, not who has the most passing yards. Start looking at the real MVP. Would the Philadelphia Eagles be in this position without Saquon this season? Absolutely not. Would the Ravens be in their situation without Derrick Henry? They would probably still be in their situation, winning a lot of games, right? Not being as dominant as they are on offense, but they'll still be winning a lot of games. Guys, Saquon Barkley's the real MVP. It's simple. Stop questioning it. He is the real MVP. But we've been on here for what? 45 minutes now. We've been on the live for 45 minutes. I've been struggling. Not really struggling. Well, I've been struggling to keep my composure. I've been struggling to not talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, about how great they are. I've been struggling not dogging the Buffalo Bills of how bad they are. I've been struggling not to blow my load. If you know, you know. Blow that man juice all over your chin. Pigskin pundits get the inside joke. But bitches love it. Let's talk about this team. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's talk about this game that we all have circled at 4:25 East Coast time. Let's circle the game that everybody in the United States of America that likes football is going to be watching this game. No 49ers versus Seahawks. It's going to be Chiefs versus Buffalo Bills. All eyes are on this game. As Week 11 does have a lot of games. We had the Commanders versus the Eagles last night. We had the Ravens versus Steelers Sunday afternoon. We had the Bengals versus Chargers Sunday night. What? Slow it down, baby! The game of the week is going to be the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Ever since July or August when the schedule came out, people had this game circled. Week 11, Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Buffalo Bills, and it is finally here. Kansas City Chiefs sitting at 9-0 on the season. The Buffalo Bills sitting at 8-2. This will be battle for first place in the AFC. Now, I know if the Kansas City Chiefs lose, they'll still be first winner. But this is the battle for the AFC on the line. First seed is on the line right now. Winner take all. The Buffalo Bills, guys, have dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in regular season since 2020. Let's just be honest. If it's regular season, the Buffalo Bills with the Kansas City Chiefs are probably going to take the Buffalo Bills. They are 3-1 since 2020. On the bright side of the things for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs have yet to put a complete game this season. And the Buffalo Bills have been a team flying under the radar. When I looked at the record at 8-2, I'm like, what? The Buffalo Bills guys have been flying under the radar. Nobody is talking about them. But the question is, do the Buffalo Bills have to win this game to show the NFL that they are the real deal? Do they have to come out there and they have to dominate the Kansas City Chiefs? Not only win, but dominate the Kansas City Chiefs for people to start to put some respect on their name, to understand why I have them at 3 in my power rankings. Now, when we talk power rankings, they are above the Ravens. They are sitting 3rd in my power rankings. And my man Mark D, for the last month of October into September, right? From September into October into November, he has been hanging by Josh Allen's nuts. He has firmly squared in his mouth, and Josh Allen is playing top-notch football right now. 2,281 yards passing this season, 17 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. That is very unlike Josh Allen. Josh Allen usually is no risk it, no biscuit, right? But he's playing very conservative, nickel and diming down the field, just 4 interceptions. That's amazing. And a QBR of 70.2. Not only is Josh Allen playing out of his mind, they added Amari Cooper right before the trade deadline. He has not had a true impact on the Buffalo Bills yet. He's only played 2 games. He had 4 catches for 66 yards versus the Titans, 1 catch for 3 yards versus the Seahawks, and he missed the last 2 games with injury, but he will come around. He should play this week versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And when we look at the Buffalo Bills, they do have the 14th ranked offense. Nothing to write home out stat-wise, but they're nickel and diming down the field. They're controlling the clock. Also, their defense only ranked 18th. Better than the Detroit Lions, but they're only ranked 18th. Right? Story of the NFL so far this season. Every game, every team we seem to talk about is like, yeah, but they haven't played anybody yet. Yeah, but they haven't played anybody yet. Yeah, they're good, but they haven't played anybody yet. Prove it to me, right? When you look at the Buffalo Bills, they have played 3 teams currently in the playoff picture, right? They beat the Arizona Cardinals week 1. Cardinals will probably miss the playoffs, but we digress from that. The Buffalo Bills got dominated by the Baltimore Ravens, and then they lost to the Houston Texans in back-to-back weeks. Since then, people kind of wrote off the Buffalo Bills. Whatever, right? And the wins this season, wins over the Miami Dolphins. Who hasn't beaten the Dolphins, right? Wins over the Jags, Jets, Titans, Seahawks, Dolphins again, and the Indianapolis Colts. And in the last 2 weeks versus the Dolphins and the Colts, they've actually had a battle of full 60 minutes. It wasn't no walk in the park. So, guys, the question is, do the Buffalo Bills have to win this week to show that they are the real deal? Are they just a big fish in a small pond? Guys, the Buffalo Bills, I feel, are in a must-win spot. Not only to prove that they are actually a top team in the NFL, but they have to win this game to keep pace for the first place seed. The Buffalo Bills wants the AFC Championship game to run through Buffalo. They have a tough slate of games coming up. They do play the Chiefs on Sunday, right? But then after that, they play the 49ers, the Lions, and then they mix in the Rams. They got a tough 4-week schedule ahead of them. And if they drop to the Kansas City Chiefs, it's a big if. They could drop 3 of the next 4. Hell, it would not surprise me if the Buffalo Bills lose 4 games in a row if they lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a chance to get right at the end of the season. If they do drop 3 of those four games, they still have a chance to get right. They play the Patriots twice and just to end the season. But this not only is a must-win for them to prove that they're a real deal in the NFL, to, hey, look at us. Hey, the AFC is not all locked up yet. But they have to win this game so they don't go on a slide. They have to win this game so they can, kind of have confidence in going to the 49ers and Rams, and then they play the Ravens, right? They need that confidence. So, guys, let me ask that question. Do the Buffalo Bills have to win this game to show that they are the real deal? That is the question that I want to ask. That is the question that I want to ask. Man juice. Bitches love it. Get you some. Merch coming soon. Lawrence Austin says, go Bills Mafia. Get out of here. And Laura with the half and half. Carson Lang, the resident Buffalo Bills fan here. I put the Buffalo Bills in the title just to Carson to come watch today because he knows we had a little friendly bet going on. But he says false. A lot of haters said the Bills were going to finish third in division, not even in the AFC. Usually the Chiefs play their best games against the Buffalo Bills. Bills do not have quite the injury bug going on, but I think they'll come down to the fact that Buckner is injured. This is correct. The Kansas City Chiefs do have the injury thing, right? Jalen Watson is out. Their cornerback with the broken ankle or dislocated ankle. Juju should be back, potentially, right? Patrick Mahomes is dealing with that ankle injury. No Rashid Rice, no Hollywood Brown. And the Buffalo Bills are starting to get right. They're starting to get 100, right? Von Miller is back. Amari Cooper is supposed to play this week after missing the last 2 weeks, but Harrison Buckner being on IR is huge, Carson. You are 100% right. James says the Bills barely squeaked past my Dolphins' injured, too riddled defense. And James, it was a divisional game. It was a game that you cannot it's still a divisional game, right? Miami, Jets, Patriots, yeah, they're all not very good right now, but it's still a divisional game. You still know each other. You still have those rivalries. You still step up to those games because you don't want to see the Buffalo Bills do well. But they did have to play a full 60 minutes. They did. Carson says the Bills will be a playoff team for the next few years. The Buffalo Bills will be a playoff team for the next few years now. Not even because they are that great. It's because the NFC East is complete shit. And Carson, let me ask you this question. Because we've seen teams like, the Kansas City Chiefs, for example. They've been so great, and the rest of the division has been so bad. Do you think that hurts the Buffalo Bills in the long run, right? Just because you aren't playing that top-tier competition more. Because you have 6 games, right? 17 of the 6 games are already locked up to these crap-ass teams. And then 9 times out of 10, right, then you play another division. That is crap, the AFC South. So there's 9 games versus crap teams. Do you think that will affect your Buffalo Bills moving forward? Is the fact that the AFC East is so bad? Or does that help them stay a little healthier and for longevity purposes? I'm just curious, right? John says this is for the home field advantage. Home field advantage. The Buffalo Bills have 1 less win now than the rest of the AFC East. Yeah, about that. The AFC East is not very good. But guys, are the Buffalo Bills in a must-win situation? Do they have to win this game to prove that they are worthy of a top 5 ranking? That worthy that we're speaking of them of such high manners? Are they worthy of it? That is the question that I want to ask. And that's the question that I want the answer to. Answer to me, baby. But you guys do know I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You guys do know that I am a homer when I talk about my Kansas City Chiefs. Now, really, I try to be realistic, right? When we broke down the Kansas City Chiefs back in June or July, I had them losing this game to the Buffalo Bills, and then I had them losing next week to the Carolina Panthers. Actually, at this point in the season, I had them at like 3 or 4 losses. Let's just be honest. But we got to ask the question. The Kansas City Chiefs are 9-0 right now. They are 9-0 going into this Week 11 game versus the Buffalo Bills. Harrison Buckner is on the 4-week IR with his knee issue, right? He is getting it sculpted and getting it cleaned out, right? Juju should be back after battling that hamstring issue. The Kansas City Chiefs still do have their 2 starting receivers out, Rashid Rice and Hollywood Brown, and they have their starting quarterback out as well as Jalen Watson. Beyond that, they do have Patrick Mahomes hurt as well. And oh, by the way, Jay Pacheco is still not back. Everything is stacking up against the Kansas City Chiefs to lose this game this week. And oh, by the way, they have yet to play a complete game. They have yet to play a full 60-minute game all season long. And people have been waiting and have been wishing and have been hoping that the Kansas City fails this season. They want them to lose every week. They're tired of the Swifties. They're tired of the success. They're tired of like this. But guys, when we look at the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs, Is this the game that the Kansas City Chiefs lose? Is this the game that the Kansas City Chiefs have yet to play 60 minutes and finally going to come back and bite them in the butt? Is this the game? When we look at this game, everything points to the Kansas City Chiefs stumbling in this game. They're a 2-point underdog. Mahomes with the ankle injury. The wide receiver core not looking good. Not dominating that they have played anybody yet. They've only had 2 games when they've won by double digits versus the Saints versus the 49ers. They're not dominating anybody. The defense is playing top tier. They're ranked 4th in the NFL. They're winning a lot of games because of the defense. Offense may not be putting up a lot of points this season, but they're still a top 5 offense, currently ranked 10th in the NFL. 231 passing yards per game, 115 yards rushing, 24 points per game. And truth be told, all the pressure is on the Buffalo Bills. So as everything is pointing toward the Kansas City Chiefs to lose this game, to fail this game, to come crashing back down to reality, as my man Smash Mouth likes to say, this might be a game that they do slip up. Everything points to a slip up in this game. This is the game that they could, quote, get exposed. This is the game that the unbeaten record gets broken. This is the game that everyone starts hating on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the game that Kansas City Chiefs might lose and should lose. It won't matter because there is such thing as a good loss. It takes the pressure of the 17-0 season off. It takes the pressure off of being the best team in the NFL. It takes the pressure on, oh, but you haven't done this. You haven't done that or whatever. It takes all that pressure off, right? So as the Buffalo Bills should beat the Kansas City Chiefs this week. As they should go in there and dominate the Kansas City Chiefs from start to finish. As they should do all this stuff. Will they? That is the question. Do you guys think this is the game that the Kansas City Chiefs finally get exposed? Do you guys think this is the game that the Kansas City Chiefs not being able to play a full 60-minute games finally comes back and bites them in the ass? Is this the game that the Kansas City Chiefs are finally like, maybe we're not as good as we thought we were? Is this the game that the rest of the media is like, maybe the Kansas City Chiefs aren't as good as we thought they were? Let me know, guys. Do you guys think the Kansas City Chiefs will take the L in this game? That's the real question. No bones about it, says Miami without their starting quarterback 4 weeks. Buffalo. Carson says, I think if anything, it kind of hurts them because they get better draft picks. I think all 6 guaranteed. Oh, we're talking about my bad. DJ Coda's in the chat. He says, KC will win with some terrible calls again. Hope my Bills win, though. All right, DJ Coda. I'm glad you brought out the referee situation. I'm glad you brought the, quote, horrible play calls or the horrible flags. What horrible flags and penalties had the Kansas City Chiefs cheated with last week? Or the week before that? Or the week before that? Right? Like, every team gets missed calls. It's the nature of the beast. That's what makes American sports so prolific, right? That's what makes replays sucky because you get the element of the human error out of it, right? That's why I used to like baseball, because if you piss off the umpire, bada bing, bada boom, all of a sudden that strike zone goes from here to here, right? It just, stop with the referee, stop. It is so overplayed. It is so overrated. Stop it. We're tired of it, DJ Coda. We are tired of this terrible calls. Get a new freaking storyline, man. Get a new storyline. How about this? When the Kansas City Chiefs, how about this? Let me bring my homerness out. When the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Buffalo Bills, and there's a phantom pass interference call that could potentially cost you the game in the second quarter. In the second quarter, right? Not in the third quarter, not in the fourth quarter. It's 10 minutes in the second quarter. Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes throws the ball up. Terrible pass. He's thrown from a sack position, right? Like whatever. Oh, defensive holding. Are you going to get upset then? Because, or is it only because of the fourth quarter calls? Like, where do you draw the line, DJ? Where do you draw that line? Like, you know what? First quarter's okay. Fourth quarter, that pisses me off. Bring that energy all game. Bring that energy all game, because there is going to be a bad call that changes the outcome of this game. There is going to be a bad call that changes the outcome of this game. Whether it's in the first quarter or the second quarter or the third quarter or 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It is going to happen. Maybe, just maybe, the ball never lies. Maybe, just maybe, your team just sucks. Maybe, just maybe, Fired Up Friday is here. Maybe, just maybe. Laura says, unfortunately, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to squeeze this W out. Gosh, that hurt to say. I want to see that big fat L on the Kansas City Chiefs list. And guys, I am with you. I am with you. Kansas City Chiefs deserve this L. They need this L. They need this L so we can get the pressure off of us. 17-0, who cares? Best team in the NFL, who cares? The only thing that matters is a three-peat, baby. Only thing that matters is a three-peat. They had like 5 wins on the back of bad calls. Oh, here we go. I can't say Chiefs only beat the Falcons because of a bad call. Man, get off the dicks of the referees, for crying out loud. And DJ says, I'm a Viking fan, so the other side of the refs suck too. Hey, that face mask call that the Rams got and didn't call, it changed the whole outcome of the game. Still had to drive 75 yards with 1 minute left with no timeouts. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Carson says, how about the phantom illegal contact against the Broncos when the Broncos were there before the receiver had a chance to touch the receiver? Not even want to talk about it. 7-2, isn't it sucks? Minnesota Vikings. DJ, you are a Minnesota Vikings fan, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining us today, Dave, man. We have other Minnesota Vikings fans here. Laura, I think there's maybe 3 other Vikings fans in the whole entire world, and 2 of you guys are here. And we did a contender and a pretender video about the Minnesota Vikings a couple weeks ago. This was when I told you that they're going to go on a 2-game losing streak. This is when I told you that you guys might go on a 3-game losing streak because you might lose to the Indianapolis Colts. Unfortunately, Joe Flacco, being 39 years old and being old as dirt, whatever, right? Minnesota Vikings are not very good. There, I said it. Let me say this politely as you can, DJ, Laura, right? The Minnesota Vikings are not very good. Because when I spoke about the Minnesota Vikings, many of your fans out there, let me make sure that I'm doing this correctly, right? Let's make sure I put Laura's comment up there. It says, Buck, stop hating on the Vikings. I'm not hating on the Vikings. Every Minnesota Vikings fan that I know, says, why did we see him sign Sam Darnold? Why do we do that? He's terrible. What? And now all of a sudden you're hanging from his ball sack. Oh, Sam Darnold's the greatest thing since sliced bread. We love you, Sam. Don't leave us. When you guys signed Sam Darnold, like, oh, complete rebuild. We're terrible. What are we going to do? What, 4 or 5 wins all season long? All of a sudden, oh, we're the greatest team in the NFL. We got Sam Darnold. We're going Super Bowl. We're going to win the North. Let's go. Minnesota Vikings fans, DJ, Laura, and the other 2 that are out there, slow it down, baby. I understand you love your team. I understand that you guys think that you guys are the greatest things in sliced bread right now. Detroit Lions ain't got nothing on us. Green Bay Packers ain't got nothing on us. You are the same people that were talking so bad about Sam Darnold 3 months ago. So bad. Why do we sign him? That's stupid. This is dumb. Put J.J. McCarthy in there. What is all this crap? We're a complete rebuild. This is dumb. Now all of a sudden, Super Bowl, baby. Figure yourselves out. Figure yourselves out. It is what it is. DJ said, shouldn't have called you dumb, but it's annoying. What is annoying? That you Minnesota Vikings fans are hanging off the nuts of Sam Darnold after you showed him shit. That's freaking annoying. Figure yourselves out. And he says, Sam Darnold sucks, not the Vikings. Okay, Sam Darnold's your quarterback. Without Sam Darnold, you guys would be a winless team, wouldn't you? With the old J.J. McCarthy down, like who you going to call it? Astronaut Boy again from the 49ers? Carson says there's 4 Vikings fans, and I know 2 others. Okay, my bad. 4 Vikings fans. Laura said, you can't throw me on that list. I knew nothing about Sam Darnold, so I don't count. Oh, and DJ Coda says, you're a joke. Well, the Minnesota Vikings are a joke, DJ. So sorry about your luck, man. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want a hug? Does that make you feel better for calling me a joke? For calling me a clown? Come on, man. 7-2. Guys, let's give the Minnesota Vikings a round of applause for 7-2. Guys, DJ Coda over here is boasting up his Minnesota Vikings for being 7-2. Can we all get a moment of silence here for when DJ goes into a deep depression when the Minnesota Vikings lose to the Titans this week, and then they lose to the Bears, and then they lose to the Cardinals, and then they lose to the Falcons. Yeah, about that. Moving on, and Laura says, not Super Bowl, but first round dropouts. Laura, you know I'm just giving y'all shit. But, guys, it is time for a little bit of buy or sell. It is time to get into the old buy or sell landscape of the things here. I still don't have a freaking thing here. Buck, what is wrong with you? No buy or sell overlay. But anyways, guys, this is from yesterday. About this time, our internet cut out. We were, like, literally at this time. But it is time to get a bit about a buy or a little bit of sell. I've been scouring the old interwebs. I've been seeing what is out there, see what people are saying, what the people are talking about. And we're going to either buy what they're saying, and we're going to be selling what they're selling. Is it a buy? I agree. Or sell? Probably not. So first thing we're going to start is... Oh, wrong one. But yeah, it is Mr. Caleb Williams. It is Mr. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. I messed up on the overlay. That is my bad. But as we guys know, the Bears have been making headlines all week long. It's for all the wrong reasons. Since last week, they've been talked about on the Man Hour ad nauseum, and truth be told, we are tired of talking about them. But since the firing of Shane Waldron, some people in the media and like other podcasts, I guess on some other shows, and like my man BC Combs, saying that Caleb Williams should be benched. Caleb Williams, we need to save him from himself and bench him. So guys, it's going to be a buy or sell that the Chicago Bears should bench Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, guys, is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, stat-wise. Let me repeat that for DJ and the people in the back. Caleb Williams is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, stats-wise. 23 yards in passing for 1,785 yards. The Chicago Bears still won't have a 4,000-yard passer. 21st in touchdowns with just 9. And 29th in the NFL with the 38 QBR. 38. And my eyes, the eye test, the Combsy eye test, tells even a worse story. He's hanging on the ball for way too long, for over 5 seconds on play per average. He is not taking the checkdowns when they're there, and he looks scared at best on the field. Did you guys know the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer? Still not going to happen. So, guys, buy or sell that Caleb Williams should be benched by the Chicago Bears for the rest of the season. And I am buying this. I am buying this because getting benched is not the end-all, be-all in an NFL career. It gives you time to really soak up the games. It gives you time to really evaluate, self-scout of what you're doing. It gives you time to really understand what it takes to prepare for an NFL game. And let's just be honest, it is not like Thomas Brown is going to be the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears next season. You need to save Caleb Williams from himself. If you did this, you would save him from himself. Yes, the game reps are nice. I get it. But look at Bryce Young. Bryce Young has never won back-to-back games ever in his NFL career. He gets benched for a few games, bada bing, bada boom. The Panthers on a two-game winning streak. Bryce Young is looking like a future quarterback in the Carolina Panthers now. All because he got benched for a few games, got to learn the game, got to understand the game, got to learn how to prepare and not have to worry about the struggles of it, right? Guys, it is a buy. You should bench Caleb Williams. The rookie season is your longest season. You go from your college playing all the way up to January, right? Then you prepare for the combine, and then you get drafted in like April. Then you go directly into training camp and Brady camp and then mandatory camp and then preseason, and now we're here. You have literally been playing football nonstop for almost 18 months. It's time to slow it down for Caleb Williams. It is time to bench him. Thomas Brown is not going to be your offensive coordinator moving forward. Matt Eberflus is not going to be your coach moving forward. You are going to have a brand new offensive coordinator, brand new head coach, brand new scheme, brand new terminology. There's no sense to risk it right now. There's absolutely no risk. So, guys, buy or sell should Caleb Williams be benched for the rest of the season. Da-da-da-da. John's in the chat. What's up, John? John's a pigskin pundit as well. He says, nah. Way they benched him just brings morale down and shoots bro's confidence. John, if you listen to the mainstream media, I believe it was ESPN that was reporting that the old vets in the Chicago Bears locker room is asking to bench Caleb Williams as is. So that alone shoots down the morale. That alone shoots down your confidence when your teammates are saying, yeah, you should bench the kid. Are they trying to save him from himself? Potentially. But that's the way you shoot down the morale and the confidence. This is just saving him from himself. Saving himself from injury, right? That's what it comes down to. James Chamberlain says, since before the draft, Caleb Williams would be mid-best at the NFL. Too early to tell, right? Too early to tell what Caleb Williams' career in the NFL is going to be. When we flash back to pre-draft, every person out there said that the Chicago Bears were the best spot that a rookie quarterback could land, right? When we looked at the Patriots, when we looked at the other teams that were needing quarterbacks, the Broncos, who else was needing quarterback? Like at the time, it was like the Patriots, Broncos, and was it the Giants? Like the overwhelmingly, everybody thought the Chicago Bears were the best opportunity. They have a good defense. They have a nice running game. They have a nice receiving core. The only question was a little bit of offensive line. The offensive line was performing very, very well. Top 10 per PFF for the offensive line going in like week 6 or week 7. Now they dropped down like 25th. They've been playing terrible. But Caleb Williams has the skill, has the talent, just doesn't have the know-how yet. And that's where coaching comes into play. If they get better coaching around him, he can be an elite athlete in the NFL. And Laura says, bye. Bye. My bad. Cindy's going to a Justin Timberlake concert here next week, the 20th, I think. So we've been listening to a lot of JT, but she's saying bye. John says, I don't agree. I think it hurts him more. What hurts him worse, though, John? Getting benched and being 100% healthy to going into the first part of next season, or getting hurt, season-ending injury. I don't want to put any bad juju on him whatsoever, but what hurts worse? Rehab because of injury because your offensive line sucks and you're hanging on the ball for 6 seconds per play, or being benched? I think getting hurt works a little bit more. And Carson says, it doesn't matter. The Bears suck. Joke's on you, Carson. They're still ranked 9th in the NFC playoff picture. So, DJ Coda, my man, I apologize to you, man. I apologize. But he says, I think they have to bench him for the year because he isn't going to do better than the same terrible line and his bad decisions. He necessarily isn't making bad decisions. He's not making quick decisions, right? I believe I saw a stat when he gets the ball out underneath 2 seconds, right? Boom, boom. He is one of the top-rated QBR quarterbacks in the league. Anything over 5 seconds, he is the last-ranked QBR. So he is making good, quick decisions. He's just not reading the defense well. Long-term decisions. But you are correct. Benching him right now, I agree, DJ, is not a bad thing. It is not an end-all, be-all by any stretch of the imagination. Just let him soak it up. But it's not like he is going to lose his job to was it Tayshaun Bagent? Not like he's going to lose his job to like him. The Bears are married to Caleb Williams for the next 3 years at least, right? So just let him sit, let him soak it up, let him understand the game, and he'll be A-okay. A-okay. All right, guys, so as we roll on in hour number 2 of this Man Hour NFL Talk, guys, we are live every Monday through Friday at 1:30 East Coast time, here for 2 hours every Monday through Friday. Of course, we got the Tuesday night Power Ranking Show, and then Saturday night week preview show with my man Hoffy and Mark D on this after-hour show. But right now, we are in the buy or sell aspect of it. And we are going to be talking about the Minnesota Vikings, and that's Sam Darnold. We are going to talk about Sam Darnold right now because there are some Vikings fans in the chat today. So as you guys know, Sam Darnold did sign a 1-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings this offseason. Sam Darnold so far has been playing very, very well. A career year per se. And really, he is pushing the Minnesota Vikings to be competitors in the NFC. Let's just be honest. Without the above average play from Sam Darnold, the Minnesota Vikings would probably still be that 5-6 win team that everybody had them projected at. However, he is on the 1-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings. So guys, buy or sell, will Sam Darnold be a starter somewhere else in 2025? So does Sam Darnold find a new team and become a starter, become a future of some team? And like I said, Sam Darnold is playing good, if not great football right now. He is 13th in the NFL in passing for 2,141 yards. That was yesterday, with 17 touchdowns, which is 4th in the NFL. He is turning the ball over at a high rate. He has 10 interceptions so far this season. QBR sitting at 54.7. He is on pace to have a career year. Best year to date, with his second year being with the New York Football Jets with 3,024 yards for 19 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. And oh, by the way, he is only 27 years old. So as you guys know, the Minnesota Vikings did draft the rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy and early in this year's draft. I don't remember when. It's like 11th or 12th. I'm not for sure. But guys, buy or sell, does Sam Darnold start somewhere else in 2025? And I am buying this. I am buying this because I think Sam Darnold is a good bridge gap quarterback guy. He can go out there and he can win you like he is right now with the Minnesota Vikings. He can go out there and be good for a year or two with any team out there. There will be 5 or 6 teams out there that could really use him next season. One of which being the Tennessee Titans. I was kind of high on Will Levis, but right now, get out of here, right? The Carolina Panthers. Is Bryce Young really the guy? He is playing better, but is he really the guy? The Colts, Joe Flacco, he is done. Is Anthony Richardson really your guy moving forward? There are so many questions around Anthony Richardson, too many to ask, too many to answer, right? And the Raiders. Well, I hate to say I told you so, but the Raiders don't have a quarterback. No Garner Minshew, no Adrian O'Connell, Sam Darnold would be perfect there. And also, the Browns. Let's not forget about the Cleveland Browns. Is Deshaun Watson really coming back? They're in cap hell. They need a cheap-ass quarterback. Sam Darnold might be it. But to do it complete full circle? To do a complete full circle, baby? What about the New York Football Jets? What about the New York Football Jets? Aaron Rodgers is not the guy. He's going to be out. See ya. But I think he ends up on a new team. I am buying this 100%. I am buying this because I think he will start somewhere next year on an NFL team. Will he be their 2, 3, 4 year 5 starter? No, but he will be a nice bridge gap quarterback to see what you really have. So guys, buy or sell, will Sam Darnold be a starting quarterback somewhere else besides Minnesota next season? As DJ says, 100%. And it's my bad. 2 people love dogpiling the Vikings, and it annoys me. McCarthy is our future, hopefully. And to be honest, DJ, back in, was it June when I did the Minnesota Vikings breakdown? I thought by week 12, right, I kind of had the Minnesota Vikings kind of being bad till at this point. Maybe like 3 or 4 wins tops, right? I think week 12 is the bye week, if I'm not mistaken. And I said, hey, Week 12, insert J.J. McCarthy. He's going to get hot. People don't have film on him, whatever. Like he played like the Packers and Cardinals and some other teams. He was going to get 3 or 4 wins and give you a 7-10 win or 7-10 season. I do think J.J. McCarthy is the future. However, this sucks that he got hurt. This sucks that he doesn't have this have this season to really, go into each week and dressing. It sucks. It puts him behind the 8 ball going into year 2. But I do think J.J. McCarthy is the future. Casey Morgan, another pigskin pundit. What's up, Casey? He says, Williams, the guy that needed the whole humble pie, got 2 servings of it, meaning Caleb Williams. He did. Same fits the Viking system. They should sign him to an extension. So Casey says, not only should Sam Darnold be back in a Minnesota Vikings uniform next season, he should start, and they should sign him to an extension, probably 3-year deal. 3-year, let's say $30 million. $10 million a season, not too bad. It would be a good security blanket for sure for a JJ. What if he is not ready? What if he's not the guy that you thought he was, right? I could see it, but I don't see it. I don't think Kevin O'Connell wants that any type of quarterback controversy, right? Because you already have kind of the meathead of JJ. Many people kind of want JJ out, right? They say it is all about him. It's all about me. It's all about number 1, right? And you definitely do not want that quarterback controversy. So if you do bring back Sam, it would be like, hey, you are a backup. No controversy here. You're not going to be started. You're not even going to compete for the starting job. You are a backup. That's the only way I think they bring him back. Casey says, but if they don't, he will be a Raider next year. Everybody knows Dak Prescott's going to the Raiders, Casey. And John's been advocating it for a very, very long time. DJ says, I think we're doing better than we should, but he needs to learn to check down. I think he isn't a top 25. We just have the insane weapons. O'Connell writing up good plays. And Sam Darnold is putting the ball where it needs to go. Plays are being executed. And truth be told, many people have been saying, like, hey, this is just a product of the system, right? So you could be right. That is why I'm buying that he will be a starter somewhere else because, he has been a product of this system. I'm not saying he'll be a system somewhere else, but I'm definitely buying it. James Chandler says, bye. Sam is going back to New Jersey. Wouldn't that be something? Complete circle. A complete circle. Wow. He will not be on the Vikings, that's for sure. Great backup, though. Laura, Mrs. Pigskin Pundit, says, we have McCarthy. Sam can be a great backup just in case. So, this is the question that I've always had, right? This is the thought process, so let's say we are at our particular jobs, right? Let's say we're in sales, right? Yeah, we got a job at this terrible company that just wasn't doing very good, right? And we decided to kind of jump ship, or they fired us because we weren't producing, right? Then we go to this other great company, right? I am no by far their leading salesperson, at all, but I'm learning a lot. I'm learning how to make those sales. I'm learning how to talk to people. I'm learning how to do things correctly. That's what Sam Darnold did at San Francisco. Now he comes to the Minnesota Vikings, a team that, hey, we're not top notch, but we're not down low either. But we need you to kind of help us boost this confidence a little bit, right? And then here on this is now your 3rd sales job, right? You've get into a shit sales job that's not selling anything. You went to this amazing Fortune 100 company's jail job, and now you're at this Fortune 500 job, right? You are the highest salesperson on this team. You are leading them almost to the Fortune 100 company club. But they'll be like, you know what? There's this young hotshot here. He has done nothing. He has proved nothing. Still wet behind the years. We're going to need you to give all of your leads to him, and you're just going to need to take a step back. Would you be happy about that? would you be happy like, I've done all this work, I've built all these leads, I've got all this confidence, I'm taking to the moon, baby, and now you want me to give it over to him just because he's young and hot and whatever? Like, no. I don't think Sam Darnold would be okay being a backup there. I'm just saying. And John says sell high. Unfortunately, you won't be able to sell high because he's on a 1-year deal. To sell high, that means you have to sign him to an extension and then trade him. A sign and trade type of thing. That would probably be your best bet. Carson says, I feel like Darnold is going to be like the era of Fitzpatrick. Great filler quarterback. That's it. And I think he's going to be better than Ryan Fitzpatrick because Fitzpatrick was good for about 3 games a season. That's about it. You had 3 400-yard games. Awesome. Whatever. Everybody's talking about it. And all of a sudden, he shits the bed for the rest of the season. Sam Darnold is a better version of Ryan Fitzpatrick. You're probably right, Carson. You are probably right. Casey says, I don't think anyone can replace Fitzpatrick. He was the backup with the magic. What was it, 2021? May have been 2019, I think, when he came in with the fourth quarter relief pitcher. 2 was doing bad in the fourth quarter. Save us, Fitz. Save us, Fitz. Jets need a new start. Tyrod Taylor. He's had an MVP season. Tyrod Taylor will not be the starter for the Jets. It will be Sam Darnold. Casey says Jets, Arizona, Giants, Raiders, Steelers, Dallas. Many places that he could land. He could land. Jets, he would probably be a starter. Giants, he would probably be a starter. Raiders, he would definitely be the starter. He would be a backup in Arizona, backup in Pittsburgh, and a backup in Dallas. So, Laura says, I'm even okay with Darnold staying for 1 more year and JJ learning from him. Interesting. DJ Dakota says, if he gets back on schedule, I can see a tag and trade, but I doubt it. What you could do if you want to do that franchise tag and trade him, which I'm not for sure you would want to waste a franchise tag because I think you get 2 per team each year, but you could put the non-exclusive tag on them, and teams have the opportunity to match or exceed your offer, and then they get him, and then you get a supplemental draft pick, like a 4th or 5th round draft pick for him. They could do that. So Carson says, don't talk shit on Fitz Magic. I'm sorry that Fitz Magic played on your Buffalo Bills and led them to 3 wins. Congratulations. And Champy says, Cards equals second best team in the NFC. Champy, you are a Cards fan, and I respect that. But your Cardinals aren't even going to make the playoffs, man. Your Cardinals are not even going to make the playoffs, dog. Slow it down, baby. All right, so next up is my man, Xavier Worthy. The fastest man in the NFL, Mr. Xavier freaking Worthy for the Kansas City Chiefs, baby. Now, Xavier Worthy has been much of a non-factor for most of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's just be honest. They really haven't found a way to use him effectively yet. So, guys, buy or sell, will Xavier Worthy have a breakout in the second half of the season? Is Xavier Worthy going to be the man, the myth, the legend, and lead the Kansas City Chiefs to the Super Bowl in the second half of the season? When you look at Xavier Worthy so far this season, he just has 20 catches on 246 yards. He has 5 total touchdowns in 9 games. The eye test tells me he is capable of more. The eye test tells me that the Kansas City Chiefs haven't quite figured out how to use him yet. The better question is, will they? Can they and will they? The Chiefs currently are without Rashee Rice. Juju Brown is coming back from that injury, from the hamstring injury. Hollywood Brown is not in there either. The wide receiver core is very, very thin. They did pick up D-Hop, which takes away potentially some of the Xavier Worthy success on the field. So, guys, buy or sell, will Xavier Worthy have a second half breakout for the Kansas City Chiefs this season? And if you are not buying this, you do not understand how the Kansas City Chiefs work. You do not understand how great the Kansas City Chiefs organization is. You do not understand how great the addition of D-Hop is to that whole receiver core. The Kansas City Chiefs, as of late, seem to figure it out. Last season, they did not have a number one receiver till week 14. Let's just be flat and honest. The Kansas City Chiefs did not have a number one receiver until week 14. Then Rashid Rice exploded. He had broke out. He finished off the season hot. He kind of fell off in the playoffs stat-wise, but that's because he was doubled and triple teamed most of the playoffs. With the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, this will help Worthy grow. D-Hop is a precise route runner. D-Hop is a man among legends out there. D-Hop is arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. And I understand he's old, he's this, but he has a game that can translate to any system out there in the NFL. He will help Xavier Worthy get right. He will help the Kansas City Chiefs find a way to use Xavier Worthy effectively. The Kansas City Chiefs will figure it out. And it's not going to be all these go routes, right? It is not going to be the end arounds. He is going to learn how to run routes. He's going to learn how to catch the freaking ball. And the Kansas City Chiefs and Xavier Worthy will have a second half breakout. Not only will he have a second half breakout, he's going to find the end zone over and over and over again. And when they do that, they're going to start to double team him. What does that do? That opens up D-Hop, opens up Travis Kelce even more. If and when this happens, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be a very, very dangerous team. I am buying this 100%, as you guys should too. But I got to ask you guys a question. Buy or sell, will Xavier Worthy have a second half breakout? Will he break out in the second half? John says, slow it down, baby. He is not the fastest in the NFL. Who is the fastest in the NFL, John? I'm curious. James says, nobody's given up 2 first-round picks to make the trade for Darnold as a franchise tag player. Oh, it is 2 first-round picks. I did not know that. Okay. I thought it was like a 4th-round pick. My bad. John says, yes, he will help, but you think Juju and D-Hop do better? Once Xavier Worthy starts to finds his groove, John, once Xavier Worthy understands his role in the Kansas City Chiefs offense, and once Andy Reid can find his role in the Kansas City offense, it will improve everybody around him, right? Because with Juju being out, previous of D-Hop, they were able to pretty much shut Travis Kelce down. Let's just be honest. Juju is not the man, the myth, the legend that he used to be, but he's still a pretty decent receiver. Adding in D-Hop, just his presence on the field has instantly opened up Travis Kelce. We see Travis Kelce, he had like 8 or 9 catches the last 6 weeks or something like that, right? He has been great. He has been top notch. Oh, by the way, he averages 8 catches for the Buffalo Bills every time he plays. So if you have him on fantasy, play him. But that's besides the point. If you get the opportunity to get Xavier Worthy excelling on the other side of D-Hop, it's dangerous. It's dangerous, and I think it will even help Juju more. Juju is that slot receiver. Xavier Worthy is that number 3. Is a Z receiver, right? Once D-Hop does better, Juju does better. Xavier Worthy, it is a domino effect. It is a domino effect. DJ Coda says, I think Worthy looks pretty solid. He can be great, though. He can. Right now, he is not. Do not get that twice. Right now, Xavier Worthy is a subpar receiver. He had that, what was that game? Cannot remember who they were playing, but Patrick Mahomes hit him wide open. Xavier Worthy turned around. He caught the ball. He lacked field awareness to get his feet inbounds. He was more worried about doing some type of celebration backflip into the end zone than to catching the ball, than to getting the ball into the end zone. Ultimately was ruled incomplete. I believe on the very next play or two plays later, the Chiefs had to punt the ball away. Xavier Worthy has the ability to be great. He has the speed. His routes need a little polish. That's where D-Hop comes into play. His hands, I think he just needs that confidence, right? But he has the ability to be great. Maybe not great. To be solid. He has the ability to be a solid number 2 receiver with a great number 1 next to him. Casey says Worthy is going to be whatever this season. I'm hoping that D-Hop there next year. There'll be true breakout season. Hopefully the Chiefs do sign D-Hop to long term. That would be huge for Xavier Worthy. And Carson says Worthy is too little. He is very skinny. He is very scrawny, but also is Devontae Smith, right? Him and Devontae Smith are kind of right about the same build, right? Xavier Worthy just a little bit more shifty, a little bit more quicker. Although I would take Devontae Smith over Worthy. I'm just saying that. James says sell. Yeah, he's fast as F, but he can't turn. Yeah, he is. So I coach high school, right? And we have some fast kids. And there are some plays where like, hey, let's run a rocket reverse. Here you go, Trey. Run as fast as you can to the outside and beat everybody. That's what Xavier Worthy has probably been doing all of his Pop Warner, high school, and college. He just outruns everybody. Now, the NFL game, everybody's fast, right? Everybody's quick. Everybody is fast. He does have elite speed, but he needs to understand that just because you have elite speed doesn't mean you can beat everybody to the outside. And that's what he's consistently trying to do. What I try to teach my nephew, right? He always wants to run full speed all the time. Boom, 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 right? Sometimes you have to set people up. Like you kind of have to half-ass it, right? Like you kind of have to jog to the hole and then all of a sudden, boom, like you are gone. Xavier Worthy just needs to learn, not from Isaiah Pacheco, because he just runs full speed 100% of the time downhill. But he needs to learn from D-Hop. He needs to learn from Juju. He needs to learn how to disguise his speed, per se. Casey says the Chiefs sacrificed too many souls for their luck to be this season. It's not luck. That's why he's going to turn it around. And Laura says, buy, and buy some more. Yuck, I didn't want to sell him. Gross, Kansas City Chiefs. Laura, I can respect that. I dogged the Minnesota Vikings there for like a little bit. I went on a little bit of rant. You can dog my Chiefs. Go for it. DJ Coda says since they have the best thing to do, measure speed. So it'll be interesting to see what his on field is on the other year because he's number 4 on the field right now. Oh, so basically DJ is saying that they have that Amazon software that they can track like how fast you are running on any given play. And right now Xavier Worthy is 4th. I mean, I've seen a lot of people get like 22 to 23 miles an hour. Like people are fast. People are fast in the NFL. Let's just call it how it is. They are very, very fast in the NFL. But this will be the final buy or sell of the day, guys. And then we got a little extra for you. This is from buy or sell yesterday, but this is Contender or Pretender Friday. And we got 4 teams that we're going to talk about. We got the 8th and 9th seed and the AFC and the NFC looking forward. So we're going to determine if they're contenders or pretenders right after this beautiful buy or sell. And this one's just for Laura. This one is just for Laura because we all know how big of an Aaron Rodgers fan she is. We all know that Aaron Rodgers has been a staple of Laura's life for the last 15 to 16 years. She loves her some Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers was asked on the Pat McAfee show if he'll be playing in the NFL in 2025. And he says, yeah, I think so. That doesn't sound very confident to me. But guys, buy or sell, will Aaron Rodgers be a Jet in 2025? Will Aaron Rodgers be a New York football Jet in 2025? When we look at the New York Jets, guys, Aaron Rodgers was brought into New York in 2023 to win a Super Bowl. He literally handpicked his team. Even though he said he didn't, he brought in people that he wanted, or they brought people in that he wanted. He played a total of 3 snaps in 2023. And so far this season, his team is 3-7 on the season. Far cry from a Super Bowl team. Far cry from a playoff team. Far cry from back-to-back 7 and 10 win seasons. Right now, however, he is 10th in the NFL in passing with 2,258 yards passing. 8th in the NFL for touchdowns at 15 and a QBR of 52, which is 24th in the NFL. This is a far cry from MVP level of play, but it's not horrible stat-wise. If you watch the games, you know that he's been playing horrible. Let's just be flat out honest. Robert Saleh was fired over a month ago, so the Jets will be looking for a new head coach and probably general manager this offseason. I do not think intern coach Jeff Rolbich will be the head coach moving forward, as he only does have one win so far this season. And he also, since Robert Saleh has been fired, he's been calling defensive play stills, and the defense went from a top 10 defense to a below average. I think they're ranked 20th in the NFL right now. So guys, buy or sell that Aaron Rodgers will be starting quarterback for the New York Football Jets next season. And I am selling this. I am selling this, and I cannot sell this fast enough. The Jets should be in a complete fire sell mode right now. Why did they not do this on the trade deadline is beyond me. You have to be crazy to think that the New York Jets still had a playoff chance before the trade deadline. Math-wise, sure, whatever, right? But big picture, eye test says you all suck. They should have had a fire sale. They should have never once thought about bringing Devontae Adams in at all, right? Now, Aaron Rodgers does have 1 year left on his deal with the New York Football Jets, but he needs to go. You need to get Aaron Rodgers out of town. Get a draft pick from him. Trade Adams. Trade everybody over the age of 34 at this point. If you're going to turn 34 in the 2025 NFL season, you are gone. Guys, the New York Jets need to sell everybody, and Aaron Rodgers should not be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets starting next season. He should not. He needs to go somewhere. The Dallas Cowboys, the Las Vegas Raiders. He needs to go somewhere, but New York is not it. And New York Jets fans, if you have a soul in your body, if you ever want to be good again, you need to get Devontae Adams out of town. You need to get Aaron Rodgers out of town. You need to get that aging old-ass line that Aaron Rodgers brought in out of town. Get everybody out. Rebuild right now. This is a sell. This is a 100% sell. But you guys are the voice of reasons here. Buy or sell. The 2025 NFL season, will Aaron Rodgers be the starting quarterback of the New York Football Jets? Casey says, I don't think any team will take him. If the Jets keep him, they are dumb. Facts. The Raiders might. Actually, Casey, the Denver Broncos would take him up and bring Nathaniel Hackett in back as a head head coach. DJ Coda says, Aaron Rodgers is such a good guy making terrible throws behind his receivers and then blaming the rest of the team. He's been throwing some missiles, though. Aaron Rodgers has been playing bad football most of the season. When he threw Mike Williams under under the a bus pre Devontae Adams, what game was that? I can't remember. It was. I think it was Jeff Olbert's it was Robert Saleh's last game. He threw Mike Williams under the bus because Aaron Rodgers made a bad throw. Well, I thought he was going to run a red line throw, whatever. He threw the ball bad. Mike Williams was running his route. Aaron Rodgers knew the route he was running. He just threw a bad ball and threw Mike Williams under the bus. That was the beginning of the end of Aaron Rodgers. All season long, he's been pointing at other people. It's his fault. It's his fault. It's his fault. It's his fault. One time, I believe it was the win on Thursday Night Football. He finally took some blame. He's like, yeah, I played bad in the first half, but it was because of this, and this, right? He took the blame for a brief second, but but it's actually their fault. Aaron Rodgers has been terrible all season long, and he is not taking any blame. He's a terrible leader. He seems like a terrible teammate, too, we'll be honest. John says, Coach Rodgers. I don't think he would be an effective coach. Maybe at the high school level, maybe at a low-tier Division I or Division II school, but in the NFL, I'm not for sure people would respect him. So, yeah. Casey says, Rodgers tried to pull a Brady and prove that he was him and not the system. But unlike Brady, Green Bay is looking like the team made Rodgers. He's also old, right? Let's just be honest. Aaron Rodgers is, 42 years old? I mean, he is old, coming off an Achilles. So give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt, I guess, right? Carson Lang says, I don't see any team eating that contract to trade for an aged Rodgers. He might only because nobody wants to pay that. And maybe the Jets do what he did, like what the Packers did to him. Force him out. Like, hey, you should probably retire, buddy. You should probably retire or find yourself a new team because you are not home here. DJ Coda says, I was so annoyed watching him get pissed at Williams when he was that terrible. Yeah. as a coach, it upset me that he publicly shamed his receiver. I was like, come on, man. You're better than that. That was against the Bills because Taron Johnson picked him off. Was it? Okay. Carson knows his Bills. I trust it. Brady really messed up on so many teams, exception with the old quarterbacks. I'm sure talking about. But guys, buy or sell. Aaron Rodgers started for the New York Jets next season. I'm selling it. I am selling it 157%. All right, guys, we have reached the black half of hour number 2 here at Man Hour. We have been live and we've been raw. We've been uncut for we've been live, raw, and cut for 2 solid hours. We're adding a little extra into today's show because yesterday got cut short, literally at 2:39 p.m. Internet went out, bada bing, bada boom. Stream was over. We had to buy or sell back in there, but it is time to get in Contender or Pretender Friday. And Contender and Pretender Friday is very, very simple, guys. We scour the NFL and we see what people are talking about. We see what people are seeing, and we determine if a team is a contender or a pretender. Today, I picked 4 teams. These are teams that have aspirations of playoff dreams. These are teams that have an opportunity to make it into the playoffs. And these are the 8th and 9th seed in the AFC and the NFC playoff picture, respectively. So when we say contenders, we are saying, can they make it to the playoffs? Not can they win a playoff game, not can they go to the NFC Championship game or the AFC Championship game, but can they simply make the playoffs? That is the rules of this week, I guess, as the contenders and pretenders, is can they just make it into the playoffs? Because these are 4 teams that are on the outside looking in. And the first team that we're going to look at on this outside looking in on Contender or Pretender Friday, that is the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts right now, guys, are sitting at the 8th seed in the AFC playoff picture. As of date right now, they have a 22% chance to make the playoffs. They do play the Jets this weekend. If they lose to the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers, they drop to a 12% chance. If they win, it jumps up to a 35% chance. Nothing to write home about, but very favorable chance there. If you look at their remaining schedule moving forward, they have 4 very winnable games. Beyond the Jets, they do play the Patriots, and then the last 3, they play the Titans, Giants, and Jaguars to end the season. Also mixed in, they do play the Lions and Broncos in the month of December. They are currently sitting at 4 and 6 on the season. I think 9 wins will get them into the playoffs. I think 9 wins will get you into that 7th seed in the AFC playoff picture. So when we look at them, guys, are the Indianapolis Colts, are they contenders or are they pretenders? Right now, the Indianapolis Colts, guys, are looking like a pretty healthy team. Right now, Michael Pittman Jr. is back in the roster. Jonathan Taylor's back in the roster. The defense has no injuries on it whatsoever, and they did just bench Joe Flacco. If we flash back to a couple weeks ago, when they benched Anthony Richardson, they said we're starting Joe Flacco because he gives us the best chance to win. He gives us the best chance to make it into the playoffs. Since then, Joe Flacco has been benched. 2-game losing streak, insert Anthony Richardson. So, guys, are the Indianapolis Colts, are they contenders or are they pretenders? Can they make the AFC playoffs this season? Guys, the Colts are pretenders. The Colts are pretenders. They will lose this week to the Jets. They will get demolished by the Detroit Lions the following week. The Colts are just a team that has kind of been mid-tier struggling for a very, very long time. The last 2-3 seasons, I was high on the Colts. I thought they were going to win the AFC South. I thought they could make some playoff noise. I've been wrong about them for the last 3 years. This season, I'm feeling, not the Colts, right? And they're proving me right finally. 4 and 6. They don't know what their quarterback situation is. They have injuries left and right. The coach has probably lost the locker room. And let's just be honest, the Colts are pretenders, guys. There is no way, no how the Colts are making it into the playoffs. Yes, they do play a head-to-head versus the Denver Broncos, and they could knock them out. And they do got those favorable games versus the Patriots and Titans and Giants and Jaguars. If they could win those 5 games, they could be hot. They could make some noise in the playoffs, but they're not making it to the playoffs. They are not making it to the playoffs. They are pretenders 100% all the way. The next team on the other side of the realm here. Did I forgot to label these? What did I do? What did I do? I don't know what I did. Hang on, boys. Hang on. I had these overlays and I misplaced it, I guess, or I overlooked it. Whatever it was. Whatever it was. But the next up on the list, let me restart this. Next up on the list is the number 9 seed. The 9 seed in the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals have been flexed to Sunday Night Football to play the LA Chargers. As you guys know, the Bengals have a 9 seed right now. They have a 26% chance of making the playoffs if it were to start today. If they beat the LA Chargers, it bumps up to a 40% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, it's down to a 14%. I have deemed Sunday Night Football a playoff game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, they're sitting at 4-6 as well, much like the Indianapolis Colts. They do have 3 very winnable games left, and if they lose these games, they are not going to be very, very nice. They do play 3 very, very winnable games versus the Cowboys, Titans, and Browns, all back-to-back. Also, to end the season, they play the Steelers twice and the Denver Broncos. So they have some very good chance to make some headway into the playoff picture. So when we look at the Cincinnati Bengals, my man John said it would not shock him one bit if the Cincinnati Bengals win out for the rest of the season. If they win over the Chargers, over the Cowboys, Titans, Browns, Steelers twice, and the Denver Broncos. Given that I believe it's like a 10-win season. It'd be 11-win season. 11-6. So, guys, are the Cincinnati Bengals, are they contenders or are they pretenders in this AFC playoff picture? Can they make it into the playoffs? And truth be told, guys, I have more faith in the Bengals to make the playoffs than I do any other team out there right now, right? More faith than the Miami Dolphins, more faith than the Colts, more faith than the team that's currently at the 7th seed, and that's the Denver Broncos. The Bengals have a really, really good offense. They have a Triple Crown winner, going to win the Triple Crown, in Jamar Chase. They have an MVP quarterback in Joe Burrow. They are playing top-notch football. Kind of. They can't win, but they're playing good football. When they play these 3 games after the Chargers, right? Then they play the Cowboys, Titans, and Browns all back-to-back, and they get a 4-game winning streak, and they play the Pittsburgh Steelers twice in 3 weeks to end the season. They beat them once, and then they beat the Browns, and they make the playoffs. This is a Bengals team that you do not want to play. And I think the Bengals are the most contending team to make the playoff picture. They added the 2. I think the Bengals had the best shot to make it into the AFC playoffs, guys. So are the Cincinnati Bengals, guys, are they contenders or are they pretenders? Casey Morgan says Cincy is a team that's hot at the moment, even with the losses to the Ravens, but they don't have a defense to contend. And that's what sucks about the Cincinnati Bengals, right? They could easily be 6-4. Let's just be honest. They could easily be 6-4 on the season without a fumbled snap on a field goal to win the game on an overtime versus the Ravens, or a 2-point conversion that goes the other way. They could be 6-4, and we'll be in this 9th seed could be the Baltimore Ravens outside looking in. The Bengals are a team that you do not want to get hot. The Bengals are a team that you do not want to let them in. The Bengals are a team that could slide into that 7th seed, and they could upset the number 2 seed. And then they could upset the number 1 seed. And then they could upset the number 3 seed, right? This is a team that you do not want to play, period. But I think they do have the best shot to make the playoffs. And I think that's what makes them contenders to make it into the playoffs. Now, when we travel to the NFC side of things, when we look at this team, the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers right now sitting at the 8th seed. They're sitting on the 8th seed outside looking into the NFC playoff picture. To make the playoffs right now, they have a 55% chance to make the playoffs. If they beat the Seahawks this week on Sunday afternoon, there's another game Sunday afternoon, they have a 63% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose, they're down to 34%. They do have a not so easy schedule moving forward. Let's just be honest. They're playing at the Packers, at the Bills. They're playing the Chicago Bears, which, even though the Bears suck, they'll still be battling for a playoff spot. The Bears are sitting right now at the 10th spot, actually 9th spot. And then you have the Rams, which they've already lost to the Rams once this season. And then they play at Miami. And then they play the Detroit Lions. And then they play the Arizona Cardinals, which they've already lost to once this season as well. Guys, the 49ers team is the team that has the highest ceiling and the lowest of low floors. This team, I actually can see them still making it to the Super Bowl. This is a team that I can see competing with the Eagles and the Commanders and the Detroit Lions. But this is a team that can also be outside the playoffs looking in. Yes, CMC is nice to get back. Yes, the 49ers could go on a run and beating some of the top teams in the NFL. But if they lose to the Seahawks on Sunday, there's 34% chance to make it into the playoffs. I think that drops down to about 10, let's just be honest. But are the 49ers contenders or are they pretenders to make the NFC playoffs? I think they are contenders. I think they are contenders because I think they are better than the Seahawks, and they're better than the Rams, and they're better than the Arizona Cardinals. This is a team that can still win the NFC West. This is a team that you can see slide in there as a third, if not the fourth seed in the NFC playoff picture, getting a home playoff game versus the Commanders, versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've already beaten the Buccaneers once this season at Tampa Bay. This is a true contending team. This is a team that I think can make the playoffs, and this is a team that I think can win in the playoffs, to be honest. This is 100% that the 49ers are contenders as the 8th seed looking out. Casey Morgan says the 49ers' whole season depends on how CMC is going to play, in my opinion. They are pretenders. And Casey, I want to take your words, and I want to soak them in, and I want to regurgitate this back at you, right? We spoke about CMC ad nauseum when he was coming back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. And I said CMC is not the end-all, be-all for the San Francisco 49ers. I said that CMC is not the keys to the ignition for the 49ers. And I still stand by that because the 49ers still had one of the best offenses. Actually, at the time, they had the best offense in the NFL without CMC. The injuries on the defense is what was holding them back, right? Fred Warner was out, and there was other people that were out, and they're back. They're getting healthy. That defense is getting healthy. The offense is still going to do their thing with CMC or not. What was the guy's name? I can't remember the running back's name, but they're running the piss out of him, right? The 49ers are a good team, and they don't need CMC to be great. It's nice to have him, but it is nice. It's not the end all be all. And Carson says the 49ers do have a fresh CMC, and that might play a factor. And like I said, it is nice to have him, right? He is definitely a top running back in the NFL. But it's not the end-all, be-all. Not the end-all, be-all. But I do think that they are contenders. I do think the 49ers are contenders. DJ Coda has a question I need to answer. He says, what is your opinion on the two-point conversion decision to not call after the flags for the refs? So, I believe you're referring to the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens call on the two-point conversion play. Yes, there was a missed, let's say, a legal contact call. Yes, there was a missed face mask call. We are not going to question if those penalties should have been called or not. They were penalties. They should have been called no matter the time. No matter what Ryan Fitzpatrick says, it does affect the play, and the flag should have been called. Now, if you want to debate whether it was the right call or not, I do agree that was the right call. Because in that situation, in that time, there was 40-some seconds left in the game. Baltimore Ravens had all 3 timeouts yet, and the Bengals had not stopped Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens for 4 straight series. 4 straight touchdowns by Lamar Jackson. It was the right call. It was the right call. You force the Ravens to drive down the field and beat you. Just not nail it out and go into overtime. Because if it went into overtime, all bets are off. It was the right call. I do agree with that. So the next up on the contenders or pretenders list is the Chicago Bears. Yes, guys, the Chicago Bears still have hopes at the playoffs. Yes, the Chicago Bears are sitting at 9th seed in the NFC playoff picture right now. If you want to call it that, right? They have a 3% chance to make the playoffs. If they beat the Green Bay Packers this weekend, that jumps up to 5%. Woo! bombing 5%. But if they lose, it drops down to less than 1%, aka out of the playoffs. The Chicago Bears have the hardest schedule left of the season. They have no gimme games. They play the Minnesota Vikings. They're at the Detroit Lions, at the San Francisco 49ers, at the Minnesota Vikings again, or then play the Vikings again at Minnesota, and then they play the Lions and Seahawks, and they end the season at the Green Bay Packers. Guys, are the Chicago Bears contenders or pretenders? Is this even a question? Is this even, guys? The Chicago Bears are pretenders. We literally were just talking about benching their quarterback. They have a new offensive coordinator. They have a shit ass team. They are the biggest pretenders in history, as Casey says. Guys, when you have a 5% chance of making the playoffs after you win, there is no chance you're making the playoffs. Let's just be honest. Are the Chicago Bears contenders or pretenders, guys? I don't even know why I brought this up. Pretenders. Come on. Chicago Bears are just not very good. It is what it is, unfortunately. But they were the ninth seed. I'm getting tired. You can tell by the stuttering start to come out. But it is what it is. One more question, guys, before we go. And says there were 3 missed calls on that one overtime play. Or on that one play, yeah. Face mask. So, actually, Carson, there's actually 4 penalties, right? It was the defensive holding. It was the offensive holding for center getting his ass ran over. There's a lineman holding down the lineman's face, and then a legal hands face to Joe Burrow. So, 4 missed penalties, but yeah, it was stupid. DJ says, I think they need to focus like crazy on their line before the next year. Williams doesn't die. Guys, the Bears are pretenders. No question about it. But guys, that is it for today. Another week in the books. Week NFL is here. If you guys like a little bit of preview show, we'll be back Saturday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right at Facebook.com and, of course, YouTube.com. Probably another 2-hour show with my man Hoffy and Mark D. We'll be breaking down all Week 11, giving you guys our picks, giving us the keys of the game, and having some fun shooting the shit. But until then, guys, I'll be back Monday, 1:30 East Coast time, live, raw, and uncut. Until then, I'm out.